Hey everyone, Ian King here with your weekly Market Insights call. And I am happy to be joined by my friend and colleague, Ted Bauman of the Bauman Letter today. Ted, thanks for joining us.
It's always a pleasure, Ian. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. Today we're going to be talking about 5G. What is this new generation of wireless technology? How big is it going to be? And how can you make money investing in the space? But let's first talk about the difference between 5G and 1G, 2G, 3G. I want to pull up this graph for our viewers, and you can see in this chart that the difference between 4G and 5G is that speeds are going to increase by 10 times. And 4G was released in 2009, so it's been about a decade since the network has gotten an upgrade like this. So this is really going to be a big event. And when you have 10 times more speeds, another chart I want to show you, it enables all kinds of new connections and devices. So everything from autonomous vehicles to utilities and infrastructures to smart homes and cities to medical devices. 5G is going to be a big disruptor in various fields of the economy. And that's why I'm excited to be joined by Ted, because we were speaking recently about some interesting plays of 5G and ways to invest now that you've written about recently in the Bauman Letter. Do you want to explain, Ted?
Sure, Ian. Well, there's a couple of ways. One of the positions that we've adopted in the Bauman Letter recently is a real estate investment trust that essentially it's the leading REIT in the United States that specializes in small cells, which is the kind of cell tower or cell communication node that's going to be required for 5G. So we decided to get in on the ground floor there in anticipation of that. And already that company has raised its dividend by 7% just since we bought it. So clearly that's one way to play it, the infrastructure. But
Right.
for me,
And I think we spoke about that at Total Wealth Symposium as well. And this thing pays a pretty healthy dividend. What's it at right now?
well, it's still under 4%, but the critical thing is that because the stocks run up so much this year, the dividend that they declared at the beginning of the year, has basically been overwhelmed by the increase in the stock price. But my calculations, we should be looking at 7 to 8% annual dividend from this stock within 3 or 4 years based on the growth.
Wow, that's great. Another way that I've been looking at 5G is what different technologies is it going to enable, right? So if you think about the speeds that we had when we went from 3G to 4G, it enabled all these mobile phone platform companies, whether it be Uber or Airbnb or Lyft. All these companies were created just because 4G came around. And that's what's so exciting about 5G is it's going to enable different types of companies. But, that's really kind of down the road a little bit. What are more of the near-term plays that we can invest in now when you talk about this chip cycle that's happening as more of these mobile handset operators upgrade to new 5G chipsets?
Yeah. Well, I think the critical thing is, it's a good point that you're making is, for me, the way to get into this 5G thing right now is to look at the companies that produce what is required to make the whole thing happen. And that's semi-processors. And not just cell phones, but everything, including your PC, everything that has a semi-processor in it is going to need to be upgraded to 5G or replaced by a new product that can handle 5G, and it's all going to rest on semi-processors. So the critical thing, I think, is to recognize that most of the major semi-processor companies that we're aware of, like Qualcomm, et cetera, they don't make their own chips. They design them, and then they have them built by somebody else. And it's those somebody else companies that I'm excited about, because those are the companies that are going to benefit first from 5G, because they're going to start producing and ramping up production even before the handsets are ready for the market. And beyond that, you've got the companies that make the equipment that those semi-processor foundries require to make chipsets and semi-processors. So if you buy into those companies now, where we're at the bottom point of the semi-processor cycle, you're going to see huge gains, 100% plus in a lot of those companies. So that's where I'm looking.
Yeah, and I was doing researches on this yesterday. In 2020, there will be 20 billion 5G enabled devices in the Internet of Things. By 2025, that number is going to triple to 60 billion. So think about all this new hardware and chips that need to be manufactured. One other angle that we've looked at Automatic Fortunes is the fact that for the first time, your mobile wireless signal will be faster than your home broadband. And I know Verizon and AT&T are all over this, because right now you're probably streaming this video from your home broadband, but in 6 months to a year, your cell service is actually going to be faster than your home broadband. And that means there is a pretty high probability that instead of having home broadband, you're just going to get a modem that connects to a wireless tower and stream your 5G right into your house to connect to all your devices. Qualcomm had a big announcement last week where they talked about this fixed wireless access market, FWA, and they have 33 OEMs already trying to build these products to connect your home to 5G. In our Automatic Fortunes portfolio, we already have an investment in one of them that's partnered with Verizon. And I'm really excited about this pick because it's up 50% since August of this year. And there's a huge market for this because 5G is going to be so disruptive, and the low-hanging fruit really is going to be just your home broadband market, increasing your speeds by sometimes 6 to 10-fold over what you have right now from your broadband connection. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Well, absolutely. And as I said, all of that is going to require components. And so both the, the end product markets, the ones you're talking about, where people switch over to the fixed wireless internet, and the companies that produce the components for those are just going to kill it over the next couple of years. I think another thing to consider, though, is that we're probably looking at a split in the global equipment market, where even if the trade dispute with China is resolved, there's probably going to be a tendency for the Chinese to kind of go their own way, because I don't think we're ever going to get back to the point where either country is willing to rely on the other for an essential technology. And so a trick for investment is to look at companies that can supply both the US and European and the Chinese markets equally, that are not overexposed to one or the other, because that's going to give you the best opportunities. And there aren't many of them, but we do have one in the Bauman letter right now. And I think that's one of the reasons why we picked it, because it's insulated from both.
Sounds like it's going to be a winner, Ted. I want to thank you for joining me today. It was great to see you. And for all you out there, if you want to hear more about our market insights at Sovereign Investor Daily, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you like this video, smash that like button right there. I'm Ian King from Automatic Fortunes, Ted Bauman from the Bauman Letter. Thanks again for joining us today. Take care.